Hello, I'm Terry Gibson, the Assistant Inspector General for Audits, Evaluations, and Cyber at the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC. I am pleased to announce the recent issuance of our report on the FDIC's adoption of cloud computing services. In 2021, the FDIC began to accelerate its cloud migration to reduce its on-premises infrastructure and modernize its IT portfolio. The FDIC invested significant resources and made IT modernization the main priority of its IT strategy to improve internal operations. The FDIC plans to have most of its mission-essential and mission-critical systems operating in the cloud by 2024. According to the FDIC, Mission Essential is defined as a system whose loss would cause a stoppage of the core operations supporting the FDIC's mission. Mission Critical refers to a system whose loss would produce a significant impact on the FDIC's operations, but not its core mission. Migration to the cloud introduces different security risks and privacy concerns, as cloud environments differ from traditional on-premises IT architectures. In addition, organizations need to align cloud adoption with organizational performance goals by taking into consideration business goals and operational efficiencies when developing and implementing cloud systems. Therefore, it is imperative that organizations have an effective IT modernization strategy to ensure an effective transition occurs and that governance processes are in place to manage different risks. We performed an audit to determine whether the FDIC has an effective strategy and governance processes to manage its cloud computing services. Joining me today is Laura Benton, an audit manager in our Office of Audits, Evaluations, and Cyber, who will discuss our findings in more detail. Laura?
Thank you, Terry. Overall, we found the FDIC had effective strategy and governance processes to manage its cloud computing services. However, the FDIC did not adhere to several cloud-related practices recommended by the Office of Management and Budget, National Institute of Standards and Technology, and FDIC guidance in the following areas. First, data inventory for cloud-based systems. The FDIC did not have an inventory of all data assets residing in its cloud environments or a fully developed data catalog. That is, an organized inventory of its cloud data assets. Second, cloud exit strategy. The FDIC did not establish an exit strategy as part of its cloud strategy planning to address issues, for example, triggering events, roles and responsibilities, and portability and transitioning of data if the FDIC needed to terminate a contract with a cloud service provider. Next, contract management plans. The FDIC did not develop contract management plans or CMPs for all 17 contract actions for cloud services valued at over $546 million. And finally, decommissioning plans for legacy systems. The FDIC did not develop disposal strategies and/or decommission plans for legacy systems. These ineffective governance and strategy controls over cloud computing pose increased risk to the FDIC, including 1, security and privacy concerns due to the lack of visibility into cloud data, 2, inability to effectively move from an existing cloud service provider to another, 3, not identifying and mitigating performance risk and vulnerabilities in cloud contracts, and 4, increased potential for cyber attacks and cost from the lack of disposal strategies for legacy systems. We determined that the FDIC had effective controls in 7 other control areas related to application rationalization, IT governance bodies' alignment with cloud risk, cloud expenditures, cloud workforce transformation, assessment and authorization, continuous monitoring, and business continuity. We made 9 recommendations to strengthen the strategy and governance over the FDIC's adoption of cloud computing services. Specifically, we recommended that the FDIC develop, maintain, and use an inventory and catalog of its cloud data throughout the cloud data lifecycle. We further recommended that the FDIC establish and implement data governance requirements for managing data residing in the cloud. In addition, we recommended that the FDIC establish an exit strategy for its cloud-based systems. We also recommended that the FDIC develop and implement CMPs for all active contract actions as required by FDIC policy, provide training to relevant staff on the requirement, and implement a review process. Finally, we recommended that the FDIC update the project management lifecycle and/or system development lifecycle frameworks to include a disposal phase and process, develop and implement policies and procedures for overseeing the decommissioning of legacy systems, and review current and planned system replacements to ensure legacy system decommissioning plans are created in accordance with FDIC policies and procedures. FDIC management agreed with these recommendations and plans to complete corrective actions by September 2024. Back to you, Terry.
Thank you, Laura. The findings and recommendations in this report will strengthen the strategy and related governance processes for the FDIC's adoption of cloud computing services. To find out more about these issues and our other oversight work, please visit our website at fdicoig.gov. And you can follow us on Twitter at FDIC_OIG. And remember, if you suspect fraud, waste, abuse, or mismanagement in FDIC programs and operations, or at FDIC supervised or insured banks, please contact our hotline at the same website and click on the red box in the upper right corner. Thank you for joining us today.